Hi guys, my name is Kodani. This is a corporate hub where kids that are in high school, primary, going to high school, would get information or get inspired on which career to go for when they go to varsity. So the main purpose of doing this interview is to give information, as much information as possible from the guys that have experience, looking at the path that they have taken in varsity or high school. Right next to me, it is Deno. I'm not gonna say much. She's gonna introduce herself and give the background about herself.
Hi everybody, my name is Dino. As Kodani has already mentioned, I am an engineer by profession and qualification and a telematics specialist by occupation. My background is really in engineering, and I have studied science subjects from the beginning up until the end, knowing very well that I wanted to be an engineer.
Okay, so in primary, did you know that you wanted to be an engineer, or when did you know?
I knew I wanted to be an engineer from high school. In primary school, I wanted to be a doctor. I was under the impression
That's what everyone wants.
I was going to be a doctor. And then finally, through some mentorship of some ladies, like the WomEng organization, they mentored me when I was in high school. Specific lady called convinced me to be an engineer, but she convinced me to be a chemical engineer. So then I went through mechatronics using a different angle, but eventually that's how I decided on being an engineer. But it was in high school, not primary school.
Okay. And what type of high school did you go to? Was it Model C high school and primary? The reason why I'm asking, I did almost everything in Chivenda. So when I got to varsity, it was a struggle because now everything was in English. There was no Chivenda in Cape Town. So
I had maybe the opposite of what you had. So I went to a private primary school, but my home language was not English. Everything was taught in Afrikaans. And then I went to a high school where everything was taught in Afrikaans. And then eventually, midway through high school, with a conversation with my parents, we decided, because my sister struggled to get a university where she was going to be taught in Afrikaans. So my sister went through the whole phase with Afrikaans. She, like you, struggled with English, and my parents wanted her to go to an Afrikaans university. So when she didn't get the course she wanted at Stellenbosch, she also didn't get the course she wanted at University of Pretoria. She had to go to an English university and had to learn English while going through.
And which is quite hard.
It is. So my parents prevented that with me by switching me to English while I was still in high school, so that I can learn everything in English in high school, so that when I get to university, I have more choices available for me.
Okay, so for a child that's moving from grade 7 going to high school, would you, and know that they want to study engineering, would you advise them to go to a normal high school or technical high school?
Honestly, I think it depends on which way you want to go with it. For example, if you want to be a chemical engineer, it doesn't matter where you go.
If
you want to be a mechatronics engineer, it also doesn't matter where you go. If you want to be a civil engineer, for example, a technical high school would be better, because you can do GED, graphics engineering, drawing in high school, so that when you get to university you're much better with it. Actually, it is also an advantage in mechatronics, because we had to do GED and I knew nothing about drawing, and I had to learn drawing from scratch. So it really depends on what you do. But if you want to go into like your more technical engineering, like your mechanical, your civil and your electrical, it would be better to go to a technical school where you can do those technical subjects firsthand. But if you want to go, even if you want to go to like chemical, or mechatronics, like a normal high school is still fine.
Still fine, because in technical high school the subjects are civil, electrical, and mechanical.
Yes.
So
but it's also important to know those are not prerequisites. in university.
Yes.
So to get to university and study any of those courses, you don't necessarily have to have done it in high school in order to be accepted in university. You need to focus on physical science and mathematics.
True.
Those are your two subjects that you need to focus on.
And what is the prerequisite like for maths and science to get into university?
So it's 60%. So when our time was 60%. So 60% mathematics, 60% physical science, 60% home language, and 50% first additional language. Yeah. So, but obviously, it's better not to stay at the minimum.
Definitely, like aim for higher, so that when you fail,
exactly,
you know.
And also, they go with the ones that are higher first before the ones that are lower. So you might be a 61 in physics, but there might be 98 people who have 72, and they might only have space for 90 people. So you will definitely not form part of the 90 if you are at 61 and there's people with 72.
Yeah. And how did you apply for universities?
So I applied for universities, basically, like I mentioned, I was mentored by a female called She was a chemical engineer. And how I applied is that, so I made so I applied for myself actually to all my universities. I did it myself. I just went online and basically applied. Oh, we also had to download application forms. So not all universities would take online applications. We had to download the application forms, print them, write them pen to paper, and then submit them. So I applied to all, basically most of the universities in South Africa that offers engineering and medicine. And then I got accepted to most of them, and then I got accepted for chemical and mechatronics. And when my matric results came out, Nestle called me to offer me a bursary. And then they were like, we want to offer you a bursary, but for mechatronics engineering.
And did you know what was mechatronics?
No, I didn't.
Yes, and just in simple terms, what is mechatronics?
I didn't know what mechatronics was. Mechatronics, now that I've done it, and no, it's basically about controls. So mechatronics believes that nothing in the world works without being able to control it, without there being a mathematical model that can explain how that thing behaves. For example, the tablets that you have now, there is a model behind why when you touch the screen this happens and the next thing happens. And basically mechatronics aims to find out that model so that it can either improve it or create a similar product with a better model or something.
When studying university, we used to say mechatronics is a combination of mechanical and electrical.
It's common. People believe that. People believe that it is.
But I think that's a good explanation. So how was Mechatronics University? Like the class, was it full of females or males? And also, how were the studies? Was it hard? How would you tell us about your varsity journey?
Okay, so Mechatronics was not full of females, especially black females. It was not full of black females. I think in my class there was 2 of us that I started with. So there was 2 of the one girl
Only
I started
2?
Yes, 2 black girls that I started with, and then later we got joined by 2 other girls. And then obviously as you progress, you leave others behind. At some point I was the only black girl in the class. But in terms of hardness, I think it is hard to study mechatronics, to study any engineering. I think any engineering is hard. What I do think though is that hardness is relative. So in essence, like how quick and how fast you grasp concepts based on like what the lecturer tells you or based on what you study is how much harder or less harder it will be. For example, even in grade 7, so basically if you're learning the formula for hypothesis, how fast you grasp that formula will determine how fast mathematics is, how hard or how hard, not hard mathematics is for you. So the same thing for engineering and mechatronics. It's about how quick and how fast you are able to grasp the concept, so that you can apply it, and the faster you can apply it, the faster you can grasp it, the better you will be able to apply it.
Yeah. Is there like an advisable way that you can use, like when you're in university studying engineering, in order for you to pass like the modules?
Study.
Study. Come on, I mean, somebody studies like the whole night and then exam comes and then they fail. Yes, we get that a lot in varsity. So I think there has to be a strategy that someone has to follow. Yeah.
I think the strategy that I learned, and I learned it while I was still in high school, while I was still doing debating. There was a girl called Annie Thomas, very smart. Her father was my physics teacher then. This girl was very smart, and she taught us. I knew her because of debating, and she told us when we were sitting one day, she's like, you need to study every day like you're writing a test tomorrow. And that's exactly what she did. In our year, she was number one in Limpopo. Not number one in Limpopo, number one of the Model C schools in Limpopo. And she was also in the national top 10.
Okay.
So she taught me that concept. So study every day like you are writing a test tomorrow.
Yes.
And I think in university, all the tutors told us, watch YouTube.
So that's where you can see it. Yeah, and now YouTube is easy accessible.
Yeah.
So also I think in high school you can also use the same method in order for you to get good matric results. So it's not only applicable to varsity students, also like when you're still in high school. Yes. And it's quite interesting that you said in your class there were only 2 girls. So, and like when you look at what you are doing now, do you think like at work, on a day-to-day basis at work, what do you think, like there aren't a lot of women in engineering?
Yeah, there are not enough women in engineering. I think that's a definite thing. There's not enough women in engineering. There's not enough I think there's a lot of capable women, but a lot of capable women that are, in comparison to men, very few. So like, because I think when you are in high school or primary school, you are taught to go for the softer things as a female.
Yes.
Because they teach you that engineering is like this thing where you're gonna wear boots every day, you're gonna use your hands every day. That's not what engineering does.
Not at all. Not at all.
I've done
engineering. I work in an engineering environment. I've got nails.
You're not gonna suffer every day. You're not gonna use a shovel every day. You're not gonna.
Do you ever use a shovel at work? No.
Maybe civil guys might use it.
Yeah. But I'm sure there are some guys that are in the office, because it's not just about being in the field. It's also like office work as well.
Yeah, civil. Like, and the thing about engineering is that engineering teaches you a way of thinking. And if you see now, a lot of companies are hiring engineers for life outside of engineering. Like for risk analysts, for accountants, like for a lot of things that they're just hiring engineers. Because engineering teaches you a way of thinking, that teaches you a way of problem solving.
That is actually true, because I studied mechanical engineering and now I'm in industrial, like a production environment in a way, industrial. And having the mechanical engineering background taught me to think, like to problem solve, to think fast on my feet. So that is very true. And for ladies that want to study engineering, what would you advise them?
Go for it.
Go for it. We need you. We need them.
I would say the quicker you can do it, the better. Like, I definitely, and I always say this, even with my girls that I mentor, I always say this. I always tell them that there is nothing as heartbreaking as watching capable girls just refusing to study engineering because they have the wrong preconceived notion of what engineering is. Engineering is not a struggle that you're going to wake up every day, use a shovel and all of those things. I always preach, I'm not good with my hands. Like, my hands are not meant for hard labor.
And you've got very soft hands.
My
hands
hands
are very soft.
are not meant for hard labor. So, but I am a qualified engineer, and I think that we need a lot more engineers in our industry. Also, because females have a big point to prove. Like I always say, you go through high school, you are a top student. You go through university, you are a top student. Suddenly, you get into the work field, and you are told you are only here because you're female.
You're female.
It's a struggle. It's like something that doesn't click with me in my head, because I'm like,
how?
All my life I've been a top student, top. Now suddenly you're telling me that I only got to where I am because I'm female. So we as female have a lot to prove, and the more we crowd the space of engineering, the more we will get our point across.
Yes, and I think what is lacking for our point to get across is because there's very few of us.
Yes.
So once we get more ladies in engineering, the better. Yeah, I do
our
agree.
Point will be
I do
proven.
agree.
Yeah.
So, what exactly do you do at work?
So I'm a telematics specialist. So I am
Fancy title.
fancy description. So basically, I'm involved with the infotainment and the whole technology of the vehicle. So I'm part of the technology development of the vehicle. So infotainment, the driving assist system, as well as the overall functions of the technologies within the car, ensuring that they work together in comprehensiveness. So essentially, I'm a tester and I am an analyzer for technology development in the vehicle.
So when you say infotainment, what? Can you please simplify that?
Infotainment is the radio.
Okay. Yeah.
Infotainment is when you get into the car, you connect the Bluetooth to your car and you're able to play the music.
Yeah, on your phone.
Yeah, that's basically infotainment.
Yeah. And do you can you work from home?
Yes, I can work from home. Well, not completely, because to an extent my job does require me to be in a vehicle and different kinds of vehicle at a time. So I can work from home on the basis of planning, on the basis of analyzing, but in terms of testing and physical analyzing on the vehicle, I have to be in that.
And you do drive a lot, eh?
Yes.
Her job
That's my main job description.
So fancy. Like, she drives, she travels to different places, different provinces, different cities. She can cover so many cities in 1 week, and I'm just like, wow, girl. So how is it working in a male dominated environment for you?
This question, and I get asked this question a lot, I never know how to fully answer it, because I think my company does a lot in terms of making females comfortable in the work environment.
Yeah.
So my company is very accommodative of females in the work environment and getting females to be comfortable in their work environment. There's a lot of policies, there's a lot of initiatives that are taken in order to make females comfortable. I think the question for me is, how does it feel being a female in engineering that is assumed to be a male job?
Yes.
And I think, being a female doesn't change. When we go to university, none of us, they don't say, okay, the boys, you must learn Boolean theorem in this way. The females, you learn Boolean theorem in this way. We're taught by the same lecturer in the same classroom, and we write the same tests. We get the same certificates that are signed by the same register, that are signed by the same vice chancellor. So I don't see how I'm different to a male as an engineer. Similarly, when we started the 206, for example, me and my male colleagues got the same information about how the car is and what we should do with the car. We got them the same information at the same time. So you can't tell me that you are any better than I am because you are male, when we got the same information at the same time and worked at the car at the same time. So I think the fight is really nonsensical for me in terms of males telling females that they shouldn't be here. It's quite nonsensical, but I think it's something that we need to continue to prove that we belong.
Yeah, and in terms of personality, do you have to possess a certain trait as a woman, like when you're working in engineering?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you, as a person, I can't say you need to be a certain way. I don't subscribe to that notion. I think that everyone has different personalities, and if we all had the same personalities, it would be, number one, a very boring place to work in. Number two, a very big clash. We wouldn't be productive because we all have the same personalities and all want to do the same thing. But there is a tendency for a requirement for females to be loud, to be outspoken in engineering. But once they are that, they also label them as too loud. Too outspoken. So then they require them to be more mimic. So that is why it's very important to just be who you are, your personality. The career, the industry will adjust. Trust me, it will adjust.
Because being yourself is consistent, you know?
It's very consistent.
Yeah. And corporate or business. So would you like to start a business or stay in corporate? The reason why I'm asking is a lot of interviews that I've watched on YouTube or on TV, it's always about how to start a business, but never about how to stay in corporate and how to make a corporate environment conducive. So for you, like, which one do you prefer, or like in the future or in the near future?
Funny enough, I don't have a desire to start my own business.
Really?
I don't have. I'm a child of an entrepreneur.
I was about to ask, like, is it because of your background?
I'm a child of an entrepreneur, but I don't have a desire to be an entrepreneur. I can invest in businesses. But my investment has to be purely investment. I don't have a desire to start a business from scratch. I do have a desire to make it in corporate, but not in business.
And looking at corporate, the way people paint it to be very
volatile.
You're volatile. Like, what do you think? What is your thought on that?
Look, it's true. Corporate is very volatile.
Yeah.
I think you see it in, for example, when corporates want to promote white males more than black females, or when there's someone who gets preference over. It's a volatile environment. No lie. But I think it's also a thriving environment. If you are someone who is competitive, and highly wants to just succeed in an environment, it's an environment you can thrive in.
Okay. Yeah. I actually wanted to ask, like, how would you make it conducive?
I think how we make corporate conducive is by changing the type of leadership. So basically, just be a better person. Like, there's nothing you can do to change the next person, but you yourself, just be a better person. Just be someone that just wants to be there for people, wants to help people, does not want to discriminate, does not want to favor. Only, like, that's friendly, like, just kind, like, just be kind, just be friendly, and that's the only way you can change you. The other person will adjust to your personality, to your aura. So your aura, the aura that you project, people around you will adjust to it. So if you are a vile person, so people will also be vile around you. If you are kind, people will be kind. So the more kind people we have, the more of a kinder environment.
So one last question from my side. Is there any question that you think I could have asked that would help someone that is in high school, or someone that is in grade 7 going to high school?
A question that would help them. I think it would be, if I am a child from a rural school, how do I get to university and sustain myself in university? Who do I need to contact to get more information about what I want to study? And what are my future prospects in terms of if I want to, what happens after I finish my degree, basically.
Yes.
So I think number one, what basically how you sustain yourself in university, monetary wise. When you are in primary school, when you are in high school, work to get a bursary. I can't reiterate it enough.
Yeah.
Work to get a bursary. Like, if you can get yourself a bursary, do it.
That is more than enough, because some bursaries guarantee you a job after work, after varsity, whereas NSS you have to pay it back when you are working. So good results would promise you, or like guarantee you, a better chance for a bursary.
Yes. And you start at grade 7.
Yeah, grade 7, not in grade 12 when you are applying for varsities. Do you have any like information on where they can get bursaries?
Definitely. I got my stuff. I followed an account called Lucky Star on Twitter. Lucky Star posts bursaries, scholarships, and bursaries that started grade 7. When I was in grade 7, I got the Ellen Gray bursary, the Ellen Gray Scholars. So it starts at grade 7.
Yeah,
like Ellen Gray Scholars starts at grade 6, I think. Yeah, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, you are a scholar, and then grade 10 up until grade 12 you're a bursar, and then university you're a fellow. So there's a lot of bursaries. You don't have to start in grade 12, you don't have to start in grade 11, you have to start early on working towards your bursary application. And also in universities you have faculty bursaries. So if you and those are automatic, so you don't even have to apply for those. Those are automatically given to you based on your academic results. So if you apply and you're in the top 10% of the applicants, you automatically get a faculty bursary for that year, and then as you move you stay on the dean's merit list and your bursary continues. So essentially everything is towards your academics and proving that you can academically handle being in university. So I would definitely say try your best to get a bursary and not necessarily rely on NSS. Push comes to shove, NSS is there.
And mechatronics. Looking at the 4th industrial revolution, do you think it's advisable to study mechatronics now?
I think mechatronics is highly in demand. I think when I started, for example, when I finished my degree and I was applying for graduate programs, a lot of companies didn't know what mechatronics is. I had 4 job offers when I exited university. 4 job offers. Because a lot of companies had just heard of this word called mechatronics and they didn't know what mechatronics was, but they believed that mechatronics was this grand thing. So when I left, I had 4. Like, I had to sit down with my mother and my brother, and we had to go through the different companies' advantages and disadvantages in terms of where I should go. And because my mother has always believed that I would work for an automotive manufacturer, it was between VW and Mercedes Benz. And then I told VW about the offer, and I told Mercedes Benz about the offer. Mercedes Benz pitched a better pitch than what VW did. Then that's how I went to Mercedes.
Okay, that's actually a great advice, because looking at jobs, it's very hard now to find a job in South Africa. So when you choose your career, you have to look at the opportunities after studying. Would this career or qualification that I'm studying, would it guarantee me a job afterwards? So that's very important. Thank you so much, Deno. It was a nice interview, and I'm sure this is going to help someone, a child that's moving from grade 7 going to high school, and also someone that's going to varsity. Not only that, but also someone who's looking at which path to take. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed the interview. So you had that. Good luck. Thank you. Bye bye.